Good afternoon and welcome to my Facebook Live today. My name is Michelle Dutrissa and I'm an independent demonstrator with Stampin' Up in Australia. So if you're visiting today, please let me know your name and where you're from, and because I'd love to say hello to you. If I don't manage to see comments, because last week unfortunately I didn't see the comments until the end, I will get back to you after the Facebook Live has finished. So we're going to get started in this fairly quickly today, because I think this card can be a little bit complicated for most. So I want to show you this card, show it to you in the catalogue, and start making it. So I have done some prep work, so we're all ready. So let me just flip this camera. Won't be one moment. Okay. Whoops, just haven't. Let me just tighten that up. Just going to straighten this camera, so I'm sorry for any little bit of wriggling or anything there. Sorry about that. My hand was in the road, and you've now got my light. So let me just flip this camera again. I must have touched the wrong button, so sorry about that. Let's see if that's better. I'm just waiting for it to come up. Yes, that's looking much better. Okay, there's a little bit of glare there. I'm terribly sorry. Anyway, here's our annual catalogue, and the card that we're going to be making today is using the Batik Boutique. I love this set from the first time I saw it in the catalogue, so I think it's actually quite interesting. But from what I've seen so far on Pinterest and Facebook, I don't think many people have actually used it. I think it is a little bit of a scary set to use. So today is actually my first play with it, and I'm hoping that over the next, or even over this weekend, that I might get a bit of time to continuing having a play with it and see what else I can come up with. It does come with dies, and the dies are called Batik dies, and it's a range of dies that cuts everything out. So this is probably what drew me to this set. First off, I have taken some of the dies out of here, but you've got dies here that will cut out the actual finished shape. This one here, you have this die which will cut out this design here. This one here will cut out the little spray of flowers. Then you have the leaf dies. Now you have these outline dies, stamps, and then these are the fillers. So there's an outline stamp, and that's the filler for that one. So you can stamp your image and then cut it out completely. But the other thing with these dies, it does come with, I'm going to see if I can pick this up easily. It comes with a die or a couple of dies that actually cut out all the little individual pieces. So let me just show you in the catalogue what I mean, because my card today is based very much on the one that's in the catalogue, except I have changed it just a little bit. It's page 114, and there's my card. So this is what I really loved in this card, set. I really loved this die cut piece that they did. Now mind you, I am partial to blue, so blue probably attracted me first, but I did love this blue with the copper foil inlays in it. Now I haven't used the copper foil inlays or any of the foils at all. I've just used the new in colors to make my card. So all these little pieces are all die cut, and it's using this piece here and another piece, which is that piece there. It is a little bit fiddly. It's like putting together a bit of a jigsaw. I have noticed with this one here, I'm not quite sure whether they've used all the little dots that have come out of this, so there's lots of little dots. I didn't do that. I actually put all this onto a white base, and I'll show you that in a moment how I did it. So because I thought there's nothing, I'm not going to sit here putting each little individual dot in. I think that would be asking for a major headache. But what I thought I'd do is I'll show you how I made this piece and how I've put this card together. And as I said, I did get a lot of ideas from the card in the catalogue, but that's why they have them in the catalogue, is so we can use these as examples and even case what they have in the catalogue. Let's get started, and I'll show you how I've made this card. So I'll remove the catalogue, just pop him over there. I'll put my card there. Now the colours that I've used are, sorry, what have I used? My mind has just gone a blank. Soft Succulent and Polished Pink and the Evening Evergreen. Now, with these dies here, what I have done, because they're the 3 dies that I've used, so I'm going to remove these dies out of the road and the stamp set. And before I put these stamp sets all away, the other stamp set I used for my greeting was Create with Friends. It's got this lovely beautiful font that you can stamp with, and then just a regular sort of font just for the second word. So it's got a lovely script. That's probably a better way to describe that font, as a script font. And then this one here is just your standard font. I can't remember now what that would be called. But I just thought that worked really well together. So I'm just going to pop those all aside. And these are our 3 die pieces that we've used. So I just want to show you. Now, I do recommend probably having a plate or a tray or something, because you do want to catch all the little bits and pieces in this. You don't want to sort of rip all this apart and then go, oh, I've lost that little bit, because there are lots of little intricate little bits and pieces. I don't know whether you can see, but I've actually pulled out these little pieces here from the dies and married it all up together. So it is a jigsaw. You're sort of pulling it apart and then putting it back together. So there is a fair amount of work involved in this card. So what I started off with is I used this piece here just to cut a piece of basic white in my shape. Okay, so this is giving me a base to work off. So I'm going to pop that there and pop that underneath it. So that's my base piece. And then in 3 colors, I've actually die cut. Well, first off, let me just turn this upside down. I've put a piece of an adhesive sheet on the back of each one of my 3 colors to start with, just so then I don't have to be worrying about gluing these down. It's now got a glue already on the back of them. This is not the one we have in our catalogue. This is leftovers from the lot we used to carry a couple of years ago. So just be very careful when you take your dies off your work, because you want to keep all these little bits and pieces. And this is why I sort of thought a tray would be really good to keep all this on. So for each color, I have die cut, and as you can see, they just come apart so easily. I have die cut 1 set of both these 2 dies here. So I've got 3 sets of each die. And now we're going to start pulling this apart. So I'm just going to pop that to one side, and I'm going to start with my green. So I need to have my base there with me, and I want, excuse me, I want the outline of this. So all I want to do is remove that piece, and I'm going to remove that piece because I don't need that bit anymore. So I'm going to pop that over here to one side, but I want these pieces here. So all I want to do is peel off very gently, and this little tray is going to catch any of those little bits and pieces that might come off, because what I want to try to do is peel off just that outline and see if I can leave the rest of it fairly intact, just in case I want to use any of those. So I'm just going to leave those sitting there on my tray, and we're going to lay this on top of our basic white piece. Now I don't want the basic white really to come through, so I'm going to lay that on top, just marrying up all those edges. And when you're happy with that, just pushing that down firmly. Okay, so that's the start of this piece. Now we're going to work out what's going to be our next colour. So I use the soft succulent as my inner piece here. So I'm going to grab that piece, and again just very gently take these pieces out because I want to keep all these. And you probably get quite a few cards out of these 3 pieces because you could do a different colour combination in this each time. So now I want these side pieces here. So all I want to do is remove that piece. Now I don't want to lose all these little inner pieces, so I'm just going to pop them all out if I can, either keeping them on my backing or just no. So I don't need those dots, so if I lose them I'm not going to be too worried, but as you can see they're quite small, and tweezers really come in handy for doing something like this. Even your take a pick tool. Then once I've done that, pulled that piece out successfully, I can just pop it into that inlay and again push that down. So now we want the next piece, which is the piece on the other side. So I'm going to pop that out. Now you will probably end up with, like me, little dots stuck all over you. Okay, just got to remove one of those. Now if you've already purchased this stamp set or this bundle, the Batik Boutique Bundle, and you've started playing with it, I would love to see what you've created with this, because as I said, it is one that there's not that much about. Now I do want to push that up a little bit because it's got a little bit of white there showing. May have pushed that down too soon. I'm just going to have to leave that, I think, just like that. I think I'm just going to ruin it, and I don't really want to do it that. Okay, so that's going to be fine like that now. And then the centerpiece. So again, just want to take that piece there. You can separate them like that and leave those on the backing. That is really good, because then if you want to use it in a different card with a different combination of colors, you can. Pop that one into there. Now 2 pieces left. Like it when they all come out like that easily. So it isn't, I mean, it is a little bit complicated, and there is a little bit of work and probably forethought in making a card like this using these dies, but I think in the end, in the long run, it actually works. It's quite worthwhile having it a go and doing it. I mean, years ago I did a butterfly one like this, put it all together, and I have to tell you there was a lot more work than this. As I said, you will get little bits and pieces stuck to you. I've got a little dot there stuck. Let's just remove that. Don't need that, but I don't need it on my finger either. So it is worthwhile playing with this and having a go. Don't let it sort of frighten you at all. I'm just going to see if I can push these dots out as I'm picking this up. No, it's not going to let me do that. Okay. We don't need any of these dots, so let's see if I can remove some of them, just using my tweezer point just to push them through to the back, and then see if I can scrape them all off. Okay, I think I've got almost all of them off. There we go, last one. That one is going to go into this circle. It's a good thing I actually like jigsaw puzzles. I'm quite enjoying them, find them very relaxing. Okay, let's get rid of these little dots stuck on my finger before we get the next lot. So here's our next one. Remove all the dots out of this one as well. And I think the white showing through the dots is actually quite nice. Makes it a lot easier than trying to put a different colour in there, that's for certain. Okay, let's see if we can get these all off. Couple of more dots there on the front. Whoops, that one's just popped back into its hole. So let's see if we can move those. Looks like we've got them all. Put that one into there. I can tell you this is coming together much quicker than what the first one did that I did earlier. I've just got more of those little dots all over me. Let's see if we can brush them away. So we're starting to get our design here coming together quite nicely. This is probably the hardest part of this whole card, is just playing around with this and putting each one of these without losing them, repositioning them back in to where we want these to go. I do love how all these colours work so beautifully together. It's just working around, putting all of these into, whoops, the area I want them to go in. Making sure they're pushed down well. This would not be a card if you wanted to make a card quickly. It's not a quick card to make. But one of those ones if you just want to sort of spend the afternoon, especially here at the moment. It's the weather is starting, winter has arrived and the weather is starting to cool down considerably, even though it was quite nice when I went out a little while ago. But we're probably going to get a few very cold days, so having things like this that you can sit and just fiddle with on a cold day, keeping warm in your heated room. I must admit I haven't put my heater on in here today. Pop that one in, one last little one. And I managed to do that without losing any of them. I'm just going to flip that over and just give it a really good push on the back and make sure that's all well and truly adhered. Okay, so we're left with this little white spot just here, and that's where this little piece comes in. Now again, when we separate these, just be very careful, because we do want to use these little pieces that are in the down the bottom in this the bottom of this little flower center, like I've done here. So there are some of the little pieces you could very, very easily lose. Doesn't matter so much on this with this green, because it's whoops, because we don't actually need them for in this color. Oops, got a pink dot stuck on the end of my tweezers. We don't want that there. And we're just going to pop that over the top of that white. Now, at one stage I sort of thought I could probably leave these as being white, but I can't, because I don't know whether you can see it. The green from underneath is showing through, so you do need actually to fill those in. So we will fill them in. So I'm going to start off with, now I've got the pink one here, so pop that out, pop that over there, and this is the piece that's going to go in the center. And then we're going to put the soft succulent to the sides. Now, if you wanted to purchase, if you live here in Australia and you wanted to purchase any of these products, you can do so through my online store, and you'll find my online store at michellejutrissa.stampinup.net, and you'll find it on the bar at the top, shop now, or shop here, or shop, and you click on that and the shop will appear, and you just log in, set yourself up as a purchaser, and make me your person that you want to purchase through, and you're ready to go. Now, I haven't actually posted as yet on my page my hostess code for this month as yet, but if you're purchasing under $250 worth, it's always worthwhile using my hostess code, and that will mean that you may get a little gift from me at the end of the month. So but if you're purchasing more than $250 worth, don't worry about using the hostess code, because you might as well get the products, because once you've spent $250 before postage and handling, you get $25 to spend, so you might as well have that for yourself. But if you're purchasing less than $250 worth, then use my hostess code, and I will give you a little thank you gift at the end of the month, or the earlier the following month. Now, on my previous card here, I used the polished pink to fill in these little bits. This time here I've decided to go just a soft succulent in there, and last time I'd lost a couple of these colors, so that's why I sort of went the pink. So this time I've managed to keep them all. And they're very, very tiny little bits. There you are. So that is the whole medallion that we've just made there. It is a little bit fussy, but it is worthwhile. I think that's just, it's beautiful, and just with the pop of white coming through those dots, I don't think you'd miss having color in there, because we've put that white behind, so it's just sort of coming through from underneath. So that's all made. So let me just pop all these dies away and move that. Now all these little bits and pieces we've collected here in our tray, you could keep those, and you could make other combinations of colors and put them together and make another card if you want, or at least probably another 2 cards, just by putting extra combinations together. So for now, I'm just going to pop all of those to one side. And there's our little medallion, and we're going to start on the next part of our card. So for the rest of our card, and to make up our card, I've started with a card base, which is 10.5 centimeters by 29.9 centimeters, and I've scored it a 14.9. So we're just going to take that and fold that in half along that score line, always with your mountain inside and your valley at the top. So you can fold that in half, and then you can burnish that. Let me just see if I can grab my bone folder. It's hiding here at the back. And we're just going to fold that along our fold and just crease that so you've got a nice sharp crease. Then what I've also got is an insert to go inside my card, and that's measurements at 10 by 14.9 centimeters. I'm going to do a bit of stamping on that as yet. And then from a scrap of basic white, what I've also cut is a rectangle using the Stitch So Sweetly dies, and it was the 3rd size down, so not the largest one or the one size down from that, but the 3rd one down. So that's the one that I've stitched that. So I've pre-stitched that for us already. So let's pop that out of the road and pop that out of the road, and we're going to do some stamping on this. Now I am just going to bring in a piece of scratch paper here. I've got my foam mat underneath because we are using photopolymer, and we're going to stamp our edge, background edge here, and we're going to be using our soft succulent. So we're stamping soft succulent onto soft succulent. Oops, got my hair caught up in that. And we're just using one of the small florals, and we're just going to ink that up well. And I'm just going to start, I've folded this in half because I don't want it to go on the back. I'm just going to fold this and just work around and turning this in different directions. It doesn't need to be too close together, but just giving some different direction each time, making sure that I'm pressing down firmly. And if you want to, you can go back and fill in one of those small little areas like that. And then we're just going to continue going down the side, stamping off to the edge, because most of this is going to get actually covered up. Anything in the middle is going to get covered up, but you can, if you're sort of concerned a little bit like that hole there, that you could put a few extra little ones in there. Just keep turning this and going around, stamp off a little bit. just work your way around that edge of your card. So just put a couple little fillers if you need to while you're stamping the edge. I'm just going to turn my card around so I can just finish off this top part here. Okay, I'm just going to pop another one, I think, just down in this corner, just so then, but I think that should get covered up quite well. So if I bring over my piece, it's going to go in the center, pop that on top. Okay, I might want to put another one just there. And I'm just going to turn that going in the opposite direction. Another one. Okay, go around and just grab a few of these little holes on the sides just so it doesn't look so bare on the edges. Okay, and once you're finished with that and you're happy, I'll just pop another one. Just in there. Let's have a look again. That's going to look fine because then my medallion is going to go down in this corner. So I'm really happy with that. Okay, let's close that up for the moment. Actually, no, I won't, because there's one more thing I want to stamp. So I'm just going to pop that to one side, and I'm going to grab my piece here, and I am going to stamp one of these just in this corner here, because we want to make the inside of our card look pretty as well. Lovely. So that's going to go there. Probably could have actually taken it up a little bit higher. Oh, look, I'm going to move those little dots. We don't need them. I'm going to restamp that. I'm going to stamp that a little bit higher up. That's better. That's what happens. See, sometimes if you make a mistake, paper has two sides, so you can very easily flip it over and restamp. So that's our inside of our card. Just notice there is a couple little marks on that, but I don't think anyone's going to notice that too much. Now I have just realised that I need to cut another strip to go on the inside of there. Those little dots are getting all over the place and all over my fingers. Okay, so we've got some little bit more stamping here to do. We're going to stamp our sentiment. So we'll just open this up again, and we're going to stamp our sentiment on here, which is friends. Line that up on my grid paper. Just hold that down for a few seconds. Just let that ink bond with the paper. Beautiful. And then we're going to stamp the word forever just underneath. Hello Margaret, how are you? So forever can just go underneath my friends. So one more thing which I haven't done, I need a little strip on the inside of my card. If we go back to my original card, I just put a little strip of the polished pink inside my card there. So I just need a strip of this. I'm wondering if I can get it out of this. Just move all of this out of the road. Now it just needs to be 10 centimeters. So I wonder if I've got a 10 centimeter piece along here, maybe just. And I just want it to be just about, it only needs to be a little strips just to give that little bit of colour. If that one would give that side would give me, might give me a bit wider. Let's have a look. Let's see. Let's move that out of the road. Yeah, that piece would be better because it's just that tiny little bit wider. And because I've used this with the adhesive on the back of it, I don't need to put any glue because it's all there for us. And I'm just going to leave myself a little bit of a white border. Oops, probably cut that slightly narrower than 10. It's okay, we'll just take that in. Just like that. Okay, so this piece here now, card insert, can just go onto the inside of our card. So we're just going to use some multi-purpose glue. You can use your seal if you want to use seal, but I do like this because I can move it around into the position where I want it. Now over the next couple of days I will post this video onto my YouTube channel. If you enjoy my videos, please head over to my YouTube channel and like my channel. Probably got a little bit of mark there. I'm just going to see if I can remove that with a rubber. Sometimes a rubber can remove all sorts of little bits on there we don't want to be seen. There we go, that looks better. So I'm happy with the way where that's positioned. So there's our card. Let's pop. So we're going to now put our sentiment piece on. And I am going to position this probably a little bit closer to the top, because we are going to put, I'm just eyeing this in the middle, and then that piece there is just going to come off the edge, just similar to what they've done the card in the catalogue, but their medallion was towards the top where I'm putting it at the bottom. And I'm just putting a little bit of glue on the back of that. Didn't really want to set this up on dimensionals because I think it's got a lot of height as it is, because it's 4 thicknesses now. So you've got your base, you've got this little matte piece here, then we've matted underneath. So there's lots of layers in here, so I don't think it needs to go too much higher. And there we go. So we'll just glue that on there. I'm happy with that. I probably could have put another little stamp just in there. Let's see if we can do that without all I want is just probably one of the little flowers at the top, just to go in there, just to look like that's not such a hole. Make sure we close that. I've been finding this one here hasn't been closing that well. It closes well once I've pushed it down, but I haven't been pushing it down well, I should say. So there's my 2 cards made today. So I hope you've enjoyed that. I hope it will encourage you to maybe look at this stamp set or stamp and die set bundle a bit more, and see if it's something that you could use, because I think it is an interesting one. It's just there are lots of little bits and pieces to it. So excuse me. So that's it there. And as I said, I hope you've enjoyed that. I hope that will encourage you to maybe have a look at this set again. Sorry for the glare on that. And to give it a try yourself. Because I can't actually wait to see what else I can come up with this one. Now let me just flip my camera over. It won't be a moment. Excuse me, sorry. Okay, let's just flip this camera. Hi Vicky, how are you? A few people are watching now. Hi Louis. Is it? Sorry, I can't just quite read it. My glasses aren't focusing too well today. Okay, so let me just flip this camera. There we go. So I hope you've really enjoyed that. As I said, it is a fun card to make. There is a little bit of work involved in it, but don't let that frighten you off. It is a stamp set that I'm sure that we can come up with lots of ideas of how we can use it. Next week, I will not be doing a Facebook Live. I'm actually going away for a retreat in the town next door, which is only about 10-15 minutes away. So I'll be going away for 3 days doing an embroidery course, which I'm thoroughly looking forward to. Something a little bit different that I haven't done for a long time. So it'll be a fortnight before I'll be back here again. So I hope you all have a lovely couple of weeks. Please stay in touch. Let me know what you think. If you do use this set, send me, tag me in your card. I'd love to see what you come up with, because I think it is one that will tend to scare people away a little bit, but I think it is worthwhile having a go with it, and just play and see what you come up with. Well, you all have a lovely weekend. I hope it's not too cold where you are, and take care, and we'll see you in a fortnight. Bye for now.